You can't leave without us.
I am beginning to see it. And I am willing to defend it.
With drink?
That was just to get rid of him for a while.
Oh, no, listen to me. Drink. Isn't that what's making you into a common old bowsy with nothing left in him but tricks of keeping his balance? The fineness is quite lost from you because of drink. There was something said about ghosts, and I see you're slipping drunk and senseless into the ghost of your old father. Though, in fairness, you'll ruin fewer lives than he. Is that what all the education was for? The fearless spirit, the suffering for art's sake that you should come to this?
To what? To see me sober? You know I've made my mark upon the world. And I would have you believe my family is the dearest thing in my life.
I will believe it if you will, but they do not. And that's the sadness.
Dimension extensions.
Oh, you're safer with literature. You're quite safe there. They'll have the devil's own job finding you. Literature is the god you've made everyone serve on your own behalf, so you could juggle with the fame it brought you.
I deserved it. There's nothing I cannot do with words. Admit, what I have done has been well done and could not have been done by anybody else.
There's no pleasure in it.
There is beauty in it. There is truth in it. There is reason and passion and joy in it. Dreams and ambitions for thousands of years to come. Above all, there's love in it. And because I love to do what I do best and fought the world to let me do it, I'm ashamed of nothing. Nothing. If I've learned to juggle as well as write, that was forced on me. I broke so far ahead. There was no one to greet me when I came. So I dragged them after me. Reluctantly, or blindly, or born treachery, I dragged them in. I told them what to say and where to say it, and I made them listen carefully to the news that I had arrived. It didn't matter whether they were pleased or not. I could wait for their pleasure, so long as they made room for me to stand where I wanted to be, and they did. In time, they did. But it was harder to get the fame than it was to write the cause of it. Necessary, though. Necessary. I always knew it was necessary, even if God's greatest genius waited for the world to find him. He'd wait a bloody long time and in vain. No. They owe me more than a living for what I've done, and I've determined they'll pay. That's justice, nothing more. Justice. The commonest rules of barter demand it. How would you pay a man who in his own head has turned the whole course of English literature, set it free? Money isn't enough. Money is what I have pissed in a constant stream against the walls of their cities. Drink, woman, is the only reward to make me drunk, even though I want to be drunk. Imitation by my peers is another kind of pee entirely. I haven't time to count the number of imitators I've spawned. They show no accuracy, and I didn't do it for them. I did it for me. And I'm the man they're going to have to pay while I'm alive. And if I have to juggle to nudge them on, I'll juggle. Photographs and help. I'll plaster my sinking face and sightless eyes in every journal that has a camera to call its own. I'll write letters and pose and poke myself into every circle that has favors to grant. It isn't pleasant doing all this, but I'll do it because I'm serving an artist. My God, he was a lucky fellow to be born in the same skin with me. And hasn't he my friends to rely on? Won't they vilify me to maximum effect, and in public, where at least the name will stick? And if anyone here thinks I've done them wrong, speak up or better still, write to the papers about it. It gives it an air of importance. And for Jesus' sake, date it. There's the biography to think of. Though I can safely leave that side of it to Stanley. He throws away nothing that reflects a little on him. Not even me bowel movements were safe in Dublin, and that's carrying reflection a long way.
And how have you paid him?
Not with money either.
Well, how then? What'll make up for all
My success. It's what he worked for. It's what I gave him.
It's an impersonal prize.
More than that. I became the person he was not. I brought him out of a festering Irish bog and gave him Europe.
And he's glad so?
Gladness is something neither I nor anybody else could ever give to Stanley.
And what have you paid to your wife for what she's been through? Your success means little to her. Your writing means less to her. And you are no great catch as a man.
Love.
Oh, Oh, that's a fine thing to say when you're young. And it costs you nothing but sleepless nights. But when you are a man nearing 60, its welcome must be growing thin.
Then maybe I've been living on credit.
And when your credit runs out at last, she will too. Consult your balance, Mr. Joyce, before you leave Paris.
No, wait. There are others who've had neither love nor money.
Bern?
He's among them.
He is Cranley in my books and has many honourable mentions.
But no mention of how he saved your marriage when you were mad with jealousy through listening to fools.
They were not fools. That was calculated treachery to bring me down.
And he raised you up again before the wild letters you wrote to Nora could break her heart.
Yes. Yes, he did. He was always my friend.
And how did you pay him?
How I could.
It wasn't enough.
I know. But the price he asked was too high.
I didn't know that.
Ah! I thought you were all of a piece, but that's a weakness. If there is something you don't know about me, about any man, you are not fit to judge. I'll step free this moment.
You said you'd wait.
Oh, I'll wait for you. For the wine, I'll wait. Come in, come in. I should have told you. Fond understand. They got some into me. What did you get?
Whiskey.
Whiskey. I never touch whiskey except at a funeral. It numbs the faculties.
What about a wake? Just a little will hardly numb anybody, much less an Irishman. That foreign muck just plays around with you and wastes the evening waiting. You'll have some.
Well, if we all drink, you can afford to be fallible now and again. I get glasses.
No bother. I'll wipe it for you.
To the end of the war. And the success of Finnegan's Wake.
It's a shame you'll not see either.
It's a bloody awful book.
Mr. Joyce!
Could you tell me, in one sentence, exactly what it's aiming at?
What length of sentence? Finnegan's Wake is night to Ulysses' day. It's a nighttime book about the world asleep and dreaming. There's nothing obscure in that.
No. And it would be fine if we could read it while we're asleep.
Yes, damn fine that. Could you teach us to read while we're asleep, Mr. Joyce?
Ah, but that's his aim, do you see? You get so bored trying that you fall asleep.
I will. Get glasses.
But that is sleeping while you're reading, not reading while you're sleeping, eh? See, he doesn't give a damn what you say, what anybody said about his books. The bloody man is fireproof.
No, it's the artist that's fireproof. The man is falling to bits.
We'll see.
Are there just the four of you? Or have the wives not yet spoken? Come out then. Come out, whoever you are. First, the sad lady of forgotten dreams. Bring us taste a sensation of the hard stuff, Biddy. I thought you might have brought a silent priest with her to witness that she takes it in good cause. But because is good enough. Biddy Mulligan, the pride of the coom. Me finds Biddy Mulligan, the pride of the coom. Mind that. Oh, you'd agree with that, sir. I haven't a name to bless you with, but you're like a patient listener, I remember. Friend to this earth, liegeman to the Dane. Horatio grows older, I see. Ah, I wonder what Bernal would advise me now. He was always a mine of good advice if you happened to have some dynamite handy. But even then, it was easier to get in than get out.
It still is.
And have you some old quotation you can bless me with, Mr. Joyce?
When thou art desirous to be blessed, I'll blessing beg of thee. Or older still, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me.
What about speak nothing good of the dead?
Ah, nothing but good.
Well, we got that one, won't do, so. Hey. Do you know Come Back, Paddy Riley, to Ballyjames stuff?
Here and there.
Can you play the piano, missus?
Oh, well, a bit.
Well, sure, here and there and a bit. We might make something out of that.
You're not putting any water in there.
No.
Right. You start in then, and I'll try and pick it up.
Right.
The Garden of Eden has vanished, they say, but I know the lie of it still. Just turn to the left at the bridge of Bernal and stop when halfway to Coos Hill. 'Tis there you will find it, I know sure now.
And there you will likely find me. Oh, come back, Paddy Riley, to Ballyjames stuff. Come home, Paddy Riley, to me.
Well done, me old son.
You're not doing over the left you turn to.
Worst left for Bally James Duff.
You know, I'll never forget the first time I heard that song.
Jesus sake, don't sip the first one.
Whether it was at a wedding or a
You
wake.
must lay a foundation before you start sipping.
Avant-garde.
Do you know the lark in the clear air?
You're too high for me.
Well, stretch your arm and you'll reach it. That has the sweet lost sound for the occasion.
By all means, let's get the sweet lost ones out of the way first.
Shouldn't he have a hymn?
Not him.
No, we'll maybe end with the hymn. You can always end with a hymn.
But you can't have a wake without a corpse.
True. Very true, that. And Christ, I'm glad you mentioned it. Would you like to sit down? It'll have to be a wake, you see. If you drink whiskey no other time. And besides, they're the only times when the lot of us get together. Isn't that an odd coincidence now?
Cosgrave estate. Drowned in the Thames. But it was Gallagher wouldn't take water with his whiskey.
Forget it. Forget it.
My whole stock in trade is remembering. Accurately piercing time.
Like a sniper in the hindsight.
Yes. Like a sniper.
Tim Finnegan lived in Walking Street, a gentleman Irish, mighty odd. He had a tongue both rich and sweet, and to rise in the world he carried a hod. Now Tim had a sort of a tippling way, with the love of the liquor he was born, and to help him on with his work each day, and up with the weather every morning.
One morning Tim was rather full.
Rise it up, come on.
His head felt heavy, which made him shake. He fell off the ladder and broke his skull. So they carried him home, his corpse to wake. They wrapped him up in a nice clean sheet and laid him out upon the bed, with a gallon of whiskey at his feet and a barrel of water at his head.
His friends assembled at the wake, and Mrs. Finnegan called for lunch. First they brought them tea and cake, then pipes, tobacco and whiskey punch. Then William alone began to cry.
Such a lovely corpse did you ever see? Or a Tim over and why did you die?
Ah, hold your gab, said Molly McGee.
Then Mary Murphy took up the job. Ah, Biddy, she says, you're wrong, I'm sure. But Biddy gave her a belt in the gob and sent her sprawling on the floor. Then civil war did all engage. 'Twas woman to woman and man to man. Shillelagh law was all the rage, and around erection soon began.
Then Mick Maloney ducked his head as a bottle of whiskey flew at him. It missed and landed on the bed. The whiskey scattered over Tim. Be damned to your vibes. See how he rises. Tim Finnegan rising from the bed. Says, when your liquor round like blazes, stand him on jail, do you think I'm dead?
That's more like it. Jesus, it's good to see that you still have a little spirit left in you, huh?
Only when he has the spirit in him.
Face me up. I paid me tanner.
Can't you see he's a solo dancer? That be Jesus, I'm your man. If we can have a little waltzing air, maestro.
not so sad a lady as I thought. God, maybe I was wrong about the philosophy.
Do you mean then or now?
Then?
You were wrong about Byrne on several counts.
Yeah. He came to see me not long ago, and it had all changed, shrunk. We could laugh together over issues that once moved us to fury. I suppose it would be the same with all my old friends and enemies, if I could meet them so long after.
Oh, you make a distinction then between friends and enemies.
I said it should be the same with either.
But you do consider there are two kinds of people that you have pinned on the wall for the world's inspection. The writing, you see, makes no distinction at all. They're just reduced to things you have used. It surprises me that Byrne could find that amusing.
Enough! Do you not know how to behave yourself on such an occasion? There are 5 clear stages. There is first the counting of the heads, to see how the family is shrinking. Then, of course, there is the drinking. Then there's the singing. After that is the eulogies. And finally, but we've hardly passed the 3rd stage yet. Have you no sense of decency, man? Now, you just sit there. I'll keep this man in order. I'll be Jesus, I'd hate to bloody well die in your house. Now then, Mrs., I think we can stand a bit of lamentation. But don't let it get out of hand.
Who put you up to this? There's some Dublin blackguard behind this.
I remember well when he came fresh to Paris first.
You've done that bit.
Well, let her do it again, you heathen bastard, and keep your mouth shut till it comes to your turn. Holy Christ, there's no evidence left in the world for anything.
It is well known, while still a youth, he was the very model of piety. At Belvedere School, they marveled that a boy could be so holy. And they made him prefect of the sodality of the Blessed Virgin Mary, whom he served in thought, word, and deed. The Jesuits themselves opened their arms to welcome him into the priesthood. The Jesuits are choosy fellas. They don't make mistakes about things like that. No one worked harder at his lessons than young Jim. He made his mam and daddy proud of him. He was an inspiration to the whole family, who looked up to him with a kind of awe and hoped that one day, even the littlest of them, they might be able to follow in his footsteps. When he came to be a fearless young man, he set out to Paris to become a doctor. Now, what became of him after that?
He changed.
He was a blithe and a laughing fellow who savored life to the full. He was an inspiration to us too. Many a knocking shop was pointed out to me as his first, because he couldn't wait to get in among it for background material, foreground material, and whatever material he could get a grip of. He has made common fornication into a high art. And those of us who looked upon it as nothing more than a good fuck thank him for that. Now then, your turn. Inspiration is the key word, so something good that you remember him doing.
He trusted me.
Is that all?
Well, that was the best thing he did.
I don't remember you, but you sound like a fella that regrets he wasn't used. Were you overlooked, is that it? Have you come cringing round now to make sure of your place in the next book?
There won't be another book. Accept that now. We've tried to tell you as gently as we can, all the stuff now is real. Real people that you'll have to face with no good excuse for the distress you've caused.
I have started on another one.
You're a liar.
You don't know everything, mind that. What I'm capable of is not something that's fixed. Cannot be fixed until the breath is out of me. And I have enough breath yet to blow you to shadows. Out of me, right? I've had enough of your bloody Doyle and Christian righteousness. You should celebrate with me that an Irishman with an absurd skill and the Dipper's own determination has won the applause of 2 continents, and with what? A poverty-dominated childhood. And the cliques and clans of a dirty little provincial city that no one thought of mentioning until I spoke. I tell you this, there'll be pilgrims to Dublin again, and they'll come in my name. You were right. I shoved it down their throats. But they swallowed it whole and came crying for more. More of the same. Ah, but I was cagey. If I gave them more of the same, let's start to compare me with me, he's slipping, or me with others, he's been improved upon. No. I gave them Finnegan's Wake. And there's not a bloody thing in the works of men they can compare me with. Do you think when I've jumped ahead of them all these years, through poverty, hatred, treachery, ignorance, in spite of pain and blindness, do you think I'll falter now? I have waged literature like a war, and they have surrendered to a one-man army. To a sniper, yes, but a marvelously accurate sniper. Drifting from city to city, huddled in the cold rooftops, demanding payment for the very fact that he exists, gambling on the certainty of his skill. I'll last, and I'll hold out until the terms are right. And I'll last roll along the Bois de Boulogne with an independent air. You can hear the girls declare he must be a millionaire. And you'll hear them sigh and hope to die, and see them wink the other eye at the man who broke the bank at Monte Carlo. La 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 la. You can hear the girls declare he must be a millionaire. And you'll hear them sigh and hope to die, and see them wink the other eye at the man who broke the bank at Monte Carlo.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's more like the man I remember. Well, he's shown them what Ireland can do, and that's one thing, eh? Oh, no. What was it I meant to say to you? You've been wild.
I have.
But it wasn't that. Oh, my head's spinning round.
And I broke my mother's heart, they say.
I expect so. That would be nothing but light relief compared with your father.
I had a great respect for my father.
So you should. So you should. You're 2 of a kind.
Oh.
Takers, both of you. Takers. They say it takes all kinds, but it doesn't. There are only 2 kinds, givers and takers.
Even so, you've got to marvel at his capacity.
It wasn't that either. It was something to do with some sort of danger.
To me? To my work?
Oh, no, it couldn't have been that. I don't give a tinker's damn about your work.
Then you have no right to waste my time, woman.
I know the danger.
Can it be avoided?
You said extensions, there were extensions of him. And that's true as far as it goes with us. And we're just the ones he turned to stone. Danger's enough if you thought you were human. But look closer.
Look at the debris.
Yes, look what happened to Icarus because he trusted your man.
Icarus, Debbie, will you speak plain or say nothing more?
You're a fine one to ask for plain speach.
It's true. The more I think of it, the more obvious it becomes.
Well,
Have you ever heard of the term a carrier?
Like a hod carrier, of course I have, yes.
No.
Ah, well, transportation then, like making wings.
No, but that's much nearer.
well, when you get to it, I hope you're satisfied. I've had enough.